Begin the last talk in this great series that we've had, this series of taking a deep and profound look at who we really are, our authentic self, the self that knows who it is, the self that is consciously aware of our connection with the One, that self that knows where we came from and whose we are. That's the self we've been exploring this month. And for us to really get that day, the day we get that really is the first day of the rest of our lives. Amen, sisters and brothers. Yeah. So I want to share a quote that I've shared the last couple Sundays from Ernest Holmes, our founder, that's in our textbook that really lays it out. This is what this life is all about. It says, "The eternal has placed itself at the center of our being." And if we just kind of contemplated that statement for a couple minutes and lived from there, then that's all we need to talk about. But I have more to say, so we're going to keep going. The eternal has placed itself at the center of our being. The discovery of this is the greatest discovery of the ages. The discovery of the divine at our center, the living from the divine at our center, is the greatest discovery that humankind can make. And that's what this journey of life is all about. It is the journey of making that discovery. So I ran across the other day some rules for being human. And these rules are about this journey of discovery. And so I want to share them. Here they are. Rules for being human. This is the official textbook on rules for being human. Here it is. So I want to share with you 7, and there's a bonus rule. So bonus rule 8 for being human. So rule number 1 is you will receive a body. You may like it or you may hate it, but it will be yours for the entire period of this time around. Rule number 2, you will have opportunities for discovery. You are enrolled in a full-time informal school called life. Each day in this school, you will have the opportunity to discover something about yourself and the way life works. You may like the opportunities or you may think they are irrelevant and stupid, but you will have them nonetheless. Rule number 3, there are no mistakes, only opportunities for discovery. Discovering who you are is a process of trial and error, experimentation. Failed experiments are as much a part of the process as experiments are that are ultimately successful. Rule number 4, discovery opportunities are repeated until the discovery is made. If you do not make the discovery from the opportunity as it is presented, that's okay. It will simply come back around in different clothing with a big group of friends. Rule number 5, discovery opportunities don't end. There is no part of life that does not contain these opportunities. If you are still breathing, there is more to discover. Number 6, what you make of your life is up to you. You have all the tools and resources you need. What you do with them is your choice. Number 7, your answers lie inside you. The answers to life's questions lie inside you. All you need to do is look, listen, and trust. Rule number 8, you will forget all of this. And the bonus rule number 9, you can remember all of this whenever you want. So our mission this month has been to remember this journey, to remember who we are and why we came on this journey, to remember the divine place from which we started. And I want to share for the final time this month, I've shared it every single Sunday, the quote from T.S. Eliot, one of the most beautiful lines of poetry I've ever read, that with the end of all our exploring, we will come to the same place and know it for the first time. So we are knowing it for the first time in this month's experience. So to accomplish this returning to the same place for the first time and knowing it, we started out with Easter. It seems like Easter was a long time ago, but it was the first Sunday of this month. And we had our Easter moment. We decided to create a new kind of catchphrase here, and that's an Easter moment. So who remembers what an Easter moment is?
Giving up what you don't want to do anymore.
Yes. So you could have a rebirth. Yeah, so an Easter moment is when I make a conscious choice to let die. Or, yeah, Wendy, do you want a piece of chocolate, Wendy? You don't? No, I didn't think so. So, no, shouldn't want that. Right, I don't think it is. So an Easter moment is that moment where you say, I'm going to let this belief, way of being, behavior, habit, whatever it might be, I'm going to let that die so that something new can be born in me. So something can rise up. That something is your authentic self. So that the truth of who I am can be more fully expressed. That's the Easter moment. And we explored that a lot. And the vibration when we do have those Easter moments, the lifting up of our vibration, we talked about that the first Sunday of the month. Then the last 2 Sundays, we have explored 6 of 7 of intrinsic qualities of the authentic self. Qualities that we said could be used one of 2 ways. One way is that when we just automatically come from these intrinsic qualities, and if we pay attention to it and notice it, we can have a realization that I am coming from my authentic self. I didn't have to work at it. I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to make a choice. I just did it. Meaning there's been some spiritual growth there, and how exciting we can celebrate that, knowing that we're not through on that journey of self-discovery, but when we're coming from these intrinsic qualities, automatically we can have a good feeling about ourselves that, look, we have embodied this, and I am living from my authentic self. The other way that they can be very valuable is when we do make a conscious choice in the moment, when we're standing at a fork in the road and we can go one way or we could go the other. When we make a choice to live from one of these qualities, we are consciously calling forth our intrinsic self. So we can use these one of 2 ways, either to acknowledge where we are and that we are being our true self, or we are absolutely intending to and desiring to make a conscious choice to live this way and therefore calling it forth. Both ways, beautiful. Last Sunday, I left you with a cliffhanger. So how many are here because you had to hear the last thing we were going to talk about? You'd be here anyway, I know that. I know that. But I did leave you with a cliffhanger because last Sunday, 2 Sundays ago, we did 3 of our 7 qualities. Last Sunday, I did 3 of our 7 qualities, and we'll review those a little bit later. And I promised that today we would get to the grand finale, the one that brings it all home, the one that wraps it up and takes us to our center, to our core, truly, truly, truly. So the 7th intrinsic quality of the authentic self can be found in this true story. It is a story that occurred a situation that occurred many, many, many years ago in a college in Maryland. And there was a sociology professor who wanted to have his students do an experiment, or a study. And the study was he was going to send his students out into the poorest part of Baltimore, and where the violence was rampant, opportunities were nil, and just surviving was the best that people could do in this particular area. So the sociology professor sent his sociology students with a questionnaire, and they were charged with, among all of them, to interview 200 boys from some various schools in this impoverished, violent area. And a series of questions were asked that would then invite the students, the college students, to make an assessment. So they went in and they interviewed 200 boys. And the final question that they had to answer themselves, these college students, was, what chances of success does this particular boy have? So 200 forms, 200 interviews, and the bottom question on each of those forms was, in your opinion, knowing what you know that you're learning in your sociology class and what you've discovered about their environment, what are their chances of success in life? And without fail, 200 college students wrote on the form, this boy has almost 0 chance of success. So 200 boys being given the assessment that they have a 0 chance of success. Well, that was the end of that study. Fast forward 25 years, and another sociology professor in that same college found the results of that study. And he thought to himself, I wonder how accurate those assessments were. I wonder. And he decided to have his students, his sociology students, do a follow-up study. So they sought to find those students, and they found 180 of the 200 students. They found 180 of them actually still lived in the Baltimore area. So they found them, and they had their checklist of questions that they were supposed to ask. And it was kind of if they answer this, then go over here. If they answer this, then go over here with the questions. So they discovered in their interviewing of 180 students, 176 of those students were, in fact, great successes. They were successful in their business. They were successful in their lives. They had families. They were loved. They were happy. They had lives that were good. And so because they answered, they had, all the criteria for being successful, they were yes to that. Then the question on the survey went to this: ask them to what do they attribute their success? And those 176 boys, every single one of them gave the same answer. And that answer was, I had a teacher. I had a teacher. Well, that really piqued the interest of the sociology professor. And he wanted to find out who this teacher was. And he did. He found out the teacher's name. He looked for her and he found her. She still lived in the Baltimore area. She was very old now, wasn't teaching anymore, but she was bright and she was sharp, and he asked if he could come interview her. So he did. And he told her, he explained to her the whole thing. He explained to her the 25 years ago survey, the survey today, and the response from those 176 out of the 180 said, we had a teacher. His question was, I have only one question for you. What was your magic formula? What did you do to have these boys who had no chance be successful? And she smiled and she laughed and a little tear came in her eye and she said, I didn't do anything magical. I simply loved those boys. I'm looking out here at a couple of you teachers. Yeah, I simply loved those boys. Love is our final intrinsic quality of the authentic self. Love, in its purest, unconditional form, is the highest level of expressing the divine through us, because we are made out of and from divine love. There's a great statement from Bertrand Russell, who was a mathematician and somewhat of a controversial philosopher, but nonetheless a brilliant mind. So these words come from a mathematician. Listen to this. The root of the matter is a very simple and old-fashioned thing. A thing so simple that I am almost ashamed to mention it, for fear of the derisive smile with which wise cynics will greet my words. The thing I mean, and please forgive me for mentioning it, is love. Christian love. If you feel this, you have a motive for existence, a guide for action, and a reason for courage. So what do you suppose he meant by Christian love? I can't go back and ask him, so I don't know. But I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to take a guess that he's referring to the love of the master teacher Jesus, who really did come here to express and share and give and teach love. And he gave us a statement that has become known as yet another rule for living, not one of the 9 that I read, but another rule for living. And what rule is that? What's it called? The golden rule. And what does that rule say? Good. Do unto others as you would have others. And I can't even imagine what you said down here, but I'm not gonna ask. His face is red, so I know he said something bad. And Chris is giggling, so I know something up here happened. And I'm not even going to ask. Do unto others. Oh, his face is so red. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I'm sorry. Stop. Now they're going like, tell us what he said. We're not going there. No. Now, here's the thing that I love about this idea. Bertrand Russell said, he called it Christian love. Well, that's great, and it is, and Jesus did say those words, do unto others as you would have others do unto you, but he is not the only one who said that. In fact, those words can be found in one way or another in all the major faith traditions. All of them. And I want to share with you a couple of them. And I love that religious science is a blending. Our spiritual teaching is a blending of all of the threads of all the religions, which is why we have those beautiful symbols that you can't see right now, but that are back behind the screen. Because we are a blending of religion, of religious ideas, of spiritual ideas from different religions. So here are just a couple, three, as a matter of fact, from different faith traditions. So in Hinduism, it is said, do not to others, which if done to thee would cause thee pain. This is the sum of duty. Same thing. From Buddhism, hurt not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. Same thing. Islam, which is a beautiful and incredible teaching brought forth by an enlightened being, Muhammad. And Islam has such a bad rap, is the only way I can say it, because of what has been done in the name of Islam by extremists. I want to stand here, if you don't take anything away from today, I want you to hear this, that the Islamic faith does not support the extremist activities of terrorists. And terrorism in one form or another has been done in the name of every single religion. But a lot of us, a lot of humanity, a lot of America thinks it's all Islam. The teaching of Islam teaches that. It does not. Let me tell you a statement that it teaches. It says, no one is a believer. No one is a believer until he desires for his brother what he desires for himself. That's pure teaching of Islam. No one is a believer until he desires for his brother what he desires for himself. And another one, I said three, but I'm going to give you another one. And it was from Sherry Hoffman not Sherry Hoffman, but Vogel in our first service, who comes from the Jewish tradition. And she actually said, would you like a fourth from Judaism? I went, sure. And she said it in Hebrew, which I can't do. She gave it the phonetic saying of it to me, and I tried, I butchered it. So I'm not even going to try. But it is love thy neighbor as thyself. So you can see that this, as Bertrand Russell called Christian love, is not just Christian love, it is spiritual love, it is truth. This idea of loving each other the way we would like to be, treating each other the way we would like to be treated, is a beautiful way to bring love into tangible form. Because here's the deal. I do not believe in simply spiritual pontification. I just think that is a waste of the breath of the person who's saying it. Because if you do not walk out of here, if I don't walk out of a talk of my own that doesn't change me in some way, that doesn't expand me in some way, that doesn't have us go out there and be better stewards of this vehicle of earth and ourselves and each other that we've been given, if we don't make shifts to do that in a more powerful, connected way, then I have not done anything but blown some hot air for 20 minutes. And I don't need to stand up here and do that. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure you get something you can walk out with. So, for that reason, here's your mission should you choose to accept it. How could you live the golden rule a little bit more in your life? Do you have a situation in your world with a spouse or partner, significant other, with a coworker, with a son or parent, with a grocery store clerk, I don't know, whoever it might be, where you could live that golden rule a little bit more? Because when we take the word love, which is a noun, and turn it into a verb, that is when we call forth the authentic self. That is when we are coming more from our authentic self. So is there a way, this is your charge, is there a way for you to bring that out more fully into the world? Dennis Merritt Jones, in his great book, which I've been using this month as kind of a resource, it's called Your Redefining Moments, Becoming Who You Were Born to Be, he said this: when we strip away the many masks we wear at the core of who we really are, we shall find the essence of love in its purest form. It is unconditioned because it is without form. Love was and is the initiating spark of life, the alpha and the omega and everything in between. It permeates, animates, and sustains all living things, holding itself back from none, judging no one or no thing. The authentic self is love because it is the microcosm of the great macrocosm, the original self, the infinite intelligence, the being, the presence, call it what you choose. It in its highest vibration, remember we talked about vibration the first Sunday of this month, unconditional love is the glue that holds all that is together and exists beyond all conditions. Most important, love has selflessly individuated and imbued itself within us at the point we call the authentic self. That was a lot of words. What he's saying is that we are the physical vehicle, in fact, the perfect delivery system for divine love on this planet. We are the perfect vehicle or the perfect delivery system for divine love on this planet. We are also the filter it must come through. We are also the filter that it must come through. So how clean is our filter? What must we wipe away from the filter? Fear, doubt, judgment, all of those kind of things cause a block from that divine love to express through us. So your first assignment is to go out there in the world and practice the golden rule a little bit more. The second one is, how might you erase something off the filter that's keeping you, maybe fear, which of course fearlessness is, I'm giving you a hint, is one of our intrinsic qualities. We'll get back to all of those, but that's one of our intrinsic qualities. Fear is a huge way that we keep up a mask, a wall that we hide behind, that we think we're being protected behind it. But what we're doing, in fact, is closing in the love that we are meant to express, that the world needs us to share. Authentic, real, unconditional love, not just for others, but for yourself. When we make the choice to live that way, those are our redefining moments. Those are moments when things shift, things change. We ratchet it up a notch in the vibratory level. So I want to give you a little example of a redefining moment for self. This is a self-redefining moment. It's the story of a little boy who loved baseball, and he loved more than anything to play baseball, and he wanted to be the greatest baseball player ever when he grew up. So one day, he didn't have anybody to play baseball with, he didn't have anybody to practice baseball with, so he decided that he would just do it by himself. He didn't need anybody else. He got his bat, and he got his ball, and he got his glove, and he went outside. And he stood there ready. And he says to himself, I am the greatest baseball player that ever lived. And with that, he tosses the ball up in the air. He takes a swing with it at the bat, and he missed that ball by a mile. Ball hit the ground. He didn't think anything about it. He picked up the ball again, and before he threw it in the air, he said, I am the living legend of baseball players. And with that, he tossed the ball in the air again, and he gave it everything he had on the swing, and again, he missed it by a mile. So this time he picks up the ball, he kind of looks at it like, is there something wrong with the ball? Looks at the bat, is there something wrong with the bat? How many of us at this point would go, is there something wrong with me? Right? I mean, he didn't. He's like, at the bat. Okay, he does it again. I am the greatest baseball player ever. And he tosses it up again. And don't you know, he swings and he misses it by a mile. With that, he says, wow, what a pitcher. That was a redefining moment. Can you have one of those for yourself this week? A redefining moment. When you forget one of those rules for living that I read earlier, which says there's no such thing as mistakes, only experiments on the journey of discovery. Can you, this week, cut yourself a little slack? Have a redefining moment about something, because I know we all do it. We carry around our mistakes, right? You know somebody who does that, right? I'm not asking you if you do it. I'm just saying, do you know somebody who lugs along their mistakes? Whether it happened yesterday or 25, 30 years ago, we carry them around. Could you this week, when you leave this room, maybe do it right? As a matter of fact, why wait to leave this room? Why don't we do it right now? Okay, yes, let's do it right now. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I want you to just think about that little boy who swung and missed. He swung and missed. He swung and missed. How many times have you swung and missed? Okay, you did. And his response was, wow, what a pitcher. So I want you to say something to yourself right now as you identify what your swing and miss was. What was it? Wow. That experiment, that experience took me here. It was a step on my journey to home, to self-discovery. Wow. How great that was. So say that one out loud. Wow, how great that was. One more time. Wow, how great that was. Yeah. Yes. That, right there, was a redefining moment. You just had one. The invitation is to continue to have them as you look for ways to live from that place within you that is the truth of who you are. Divine, perfect, unconditional love. And to let what Ernest Holmes, our founder, said, Ernest Holmes, one of my many favorite quotes from him, was let love point the way. Let love point the way. And when we do, he then said, law makes the way possible. So the divine way life works, the way God works, which is just the law which says yes, when we let love point the way, then the law moves us to greater, expanded, more beautiful, more successful successes in this, more successful experiences in this life. So I want us now to tie this. I love tying things up in a bow. It's part of my personality, needs to just tie things up in a bow. And so I want to go back and just very quickly review the 6 intrinsic qualities of the authentic self that we explored the last 2 Sundays, bringing it on home with love. And then we will say 7 affirmations. And I gave you the 6 last week. We'll add 1 to it today. So this is congregant participation time. Give me one of the 6 that we've explored the last 2 weeks. Well, give me one of them. Yes, Janice. The quality of fearlessness. Here she is right up here in the front. Chocolate is being delivered to you as we speak. The quality of fearlessness, if you couldn't hear that, meaning that when we know who and whose we are, when we return to our core, to our center, we can walk through life with nothing to fear. That doesn't mean we don't be prudent in the world. Of course we be prudent. There's actually a beautiful saying from the East that says, trust Allah and tie your camel to the post. Isn't that good? So yes, we're prudent in this world, but we really have nothing to fear because God walks as us. We can be fearless. Okay, that's one. Fearlessness. What's another one? Yes. I love that word. Very good. Equanimity. Right there, Diana. Meaning that regardless of what is going on in our world out there, whether it's or yeah, we have a sense of centeredness and groundedness and calm. We are not blown by the winds of condition. Equanimity. That was 2. Number 3. Give me another one. Wholeness. Okay, I heard it from Sam. She was like, she jumped. So hold your hand up so Diana can find you. There she is. Wholeness. That was the first one, actually, that says we remember that we are one with the all. We are part of the whole. And warts, wrinkles, and all, we are still whole, perfect, and complete because we are one with the one. Okay, 4. What's humility? Where'd that come from? Humility, right there. Nicely done. Humility, which says, I don't know it all. I am open to other ideas. I am open to new ways of being. I am humbled and open to life. Ernest Holmes, our founder, said, we must not think that we have all the answers. We must not think we know it all because there will be others who come after us who know more. And we should remain open at the top. Humility. Number 5. Oh, okay, hold on. I heard integrity over here. Did you do a different one? Okay, reverence. So we got 2. Integrity, where did integrity come from? I heard it. Oh, Sandy. Okay, Reverend Sandy. Integrity meaning I live the same inside as outside. My inner world, and it was Bev right there. My inner world and my outer world are the same. I live in integrity, and I'm integrated. And the saying that I gave you to help you remember this is that when one is living in integrity, one would not be embarrassed or ashamed to sell his or her parrot to the town gossip. Right? Right. Bev said reverence. Reverence. We know that all beings, you and every other being on this planet, whether it's human or not, is part of the whole and is holy, and so we look at all life with reverence. Was that 6? I think that was 6. That was it. We got them all. And our 7th one is, let me hear it from you all, is love. And that each one of us is a perfect, in fact, a perfect delivery system for divine love. So I promised you last week that I would give you the affirmations that we used last week to remember, to anchor, to call forth our authentic, intrinsic qualities. So there's a document that looks like this in the pew pocket in front of you. You can take that home with you. If there's extras in the pew, take it and litter not the streets, but give it to your friends. Don't litter the streets, but give it to your friends. These beautiful intrinsic quality affirmations. And well, here you go, Janice. You got this one right there. Yeah, there you go. You got it. There's plenty. And we're also going to put this up on the website. So if you want to have it electronically, it will be up there as well. If anybody needs one, I got one right up here. All you got to do is come get it. All right, we've got it. But you don't need to have that with you right now, because I'm going to say them and you're going to say them after me, because I don't want you reading something. I want you to have feeling with this. And if you'd like, because I think it's very powerful and very cool, if you stand and do the power position, which we know scientifically is it makes words more powerful. So it is standing up with the chest out and arms up. Don't hit anybody. Right there. Good. So you are simply going to repeat after me, okay? Here we go. I am whole.
I am whole.
I am complete.
I am complete.
I am one with the one.
I am one with the one.
That was wholeness. Now we're going to move to reverence. I revere all life.
I revere all life.
Because it is part of the whole.
Because it is part of the whole.
And it is holy.
And it is holy.
This one's fearlessness. I know who walks as me.
I know who walks as me.
So I am fearless.
So I am fearless.
Integrity. My outer actions.
My outer actions
Reflect my inner wholeness.
reflect my inner wholeness.
You'll know what this one is. In humility.
In humility.
I am open and receptive to life.
I am open and receptive to life.
Equanimity. I face all of life's conditions.
I face all of life's conditions
With ease and grace.
with ease and grace.
And finally, here is love. I am the perfect delivery system.
I am the perfect delivery system
For love.
for love.
All right, now that you know it, we're going to say it again together. I am the perfect delivery system for love. Again, I am the perfect delivery system for love. Bigger, I am the perfect delivery system for love. Take a deep breath. Breathe that in, breathe that in, breathe that in. Now bring your hands into your body, to your heart. And softly say with me, I am the perfect delivery system for love. And so it is.